What if NIST CSF 2.0 wasn't just a checklist, but the operating system for how your organization runs security? In this course, you'll see how to wire CSF directly into daily operations, governance, metrics, and real-world decision-making, so it becomes the way you run security, not just something you document. Many organizations treat NIST CSF as a static checklist, documents for auditors, written once and rarely revisited. Here, we'll use CSF 2.0 very differently, like a nervous system. CSF outcomes will drive runbooks, SOC playbooks, RACI matrices, and tool configurations. Used this way, CSF becomes the backbone that connects daily operations, risk decisions, and board-level oversight into one shared language. Think of the CSF 2.0 core as the body of your security program. Identify is your senses, understanding assets, business context, and supply chain. Protect is the skin and immune system, safeguards and access controls. Detect is the nervous system, continuously monitoring. Respond is your reflexes, analyzing incidents and containing damage. Recover is the healing process, restoring services and learning from what happened. At the center is govern, the brain, aligning everything with strategy, policy, and enterprise risk. In CSF 2.0, govern isn't just another function, it's the strategic driver. It defines who makes decisions, what risk level is acceptable, and how cybersecurity fits into overall business risk. Governance sets policies, clarifies roles and accountability, integrates with enterprise risk management, and elevates supply chain and third-party risk to a formal board-level concern. The identify function turns know your environment into daily practice. First, asset management, maintaining accurate, preferably automated inventories that feed your CMDB. Next, business environment, tying those assets to processes, revenue, and mission impact. Finally, risk assessment, using that context so the SOC and other teams can prioritize alerts and actions based on what actually matters most. Profiles are the translation layer between the framework and your actual security work. Your current profile captures reality, which outcomes you're achieving today based on evidence. Your target profile reflects where you need to be, driven by risk appetite, regulations, and business priorities. The distance between them is your gap. That gap becomes an implementation plan, concrete projects, engineering sprints, and budget requests that move you from as-is to to-be in a defensible, risk-driven way. The protect function is about building consistent habits of hardening. Identity outcomes turn into strong authentication, least privilege, and ultimately a zero-trust mindset. Data security outcomes push you toward encryption, classification, and safe handling everywhere data lives. Awareness outcomes turn your users into an active security layer, not just a vulnerability. Maintenance keeps patching and configuration hygiene ongoing, not occasional. CSF defines the outcomes. You choose the tools and processes that deliver them. Detect and respond operate as a continuous loop in a CSF-aligned SOC. Detect is your watchtower, centralizing logs, spotting anomalies, and surfacing suspicious behavior through SIM, EDR, and related tools. Respond is the action phase, triage, investigation, containment, and coordinated communication. Governance wraps around this loop, defining playbooks, approvals, and reporting expectations. The practical goal is straightforward. Relentlessly drive down mean time to detect and mean time to contain every incident. Recover in CSF isn't just get systems back online. It's about restoring acceptable operation while protecting trust and reputation. You execute business continuity plans, coordinate clear internal and external communication, and track progress against defined recovery objectives. Then comes the critical step: lessons learned. You feed incident data back into risk assessments and governance, updating policies, controls, and priorities. Every serious incident should permanently improve how your organization understands and manages risk. To make CSF real, you need more than controls. You need clear ownership. RACI is a simple way to wire that in. Accountable is the one person answerable for the outcome, often the CISO or a business owner. Responsible is the team doing the work, such as the SOC or engineering. Legal, HR, and other experts are consulted. Executives and the board are typically informed. Every major CSF outcome should have a defined R, A, C, and I. Treat CSF 2.0 like a set of dials showing whether security is actually reducing risk. For identify, track coverage, such as the percentage of assets discovered, not just inventory tool deployed. Protect cares about adoption. How much of the environment is protected by MFA, hardening baselines, or other safeguards? Detect, respond, and govern. Focus on speed and effectiveness. Time to detect, time to contain, and whether policies and reviews meaningfully guide decisions. If a metric doesn't influence risk, challenge whether it belongs on your dashboard. An integrated CSF dashboard is where all this work becomes actionable for different audiences. For practitioners, raw events, vulnerabilities, and control status remain detailed and technical. Governance then translates those outcomes into business language, risk categories, risk levels, and an overall tier or maturity score. That single view lets executives see which risks matter most, while engineers see exactly which controls and assets to adjust to move that score. Think of your CSF program as a nervous system that continually rewires itself. You assess by auditing your current profile and tiers. You set direction by defining a target profile that matches business strategy and risk appetite. You implement by running daily operations across protect, detect, and respond. You measure using a small, meaningful set of KPIs. Then you feed those lessons back into governance, update decisions and priorities, and repeat the cycle. NIST CSF 2.0 is powerful because it keeps security connected to real business goals, not just checklists. It gives everyone a common language, from engineers to executives. You gain efficiency by mapping once and reusing across frameworks, and you stay agile as new threats and technologies emerge. Now think of your CSF 2.0 program as that nervous system you're wiring into the organization. You start by scoping. Define what's in and why it matters. Then orient. Understand the business context, risks, and existing controls. Next, build and refine your profiles so they reflect reality, not wishful thinking. Assess gaps and tier maturity with evidence. Finally, execute. Turn roadmap items into funded projects, owned metrics, and recurring reviews. That implementation loop is your path forward, and it starts now.